Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and as you guys may know, I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. I've been a Ninja Turtle fan since I was like 2, 3, or 4. So I started to be a Ninja Turtle fan at a pretty young age. And I have my sister to thank, because she had me watch the first 3 Ninja Turtle movies that were made in the 90s, and then thankfully when I was like about 7, the old Three Turtles show came out, so I would watch like those episodes when they were coming out on like 4Kids TV and Fox Box when the old Three Turtles were new, and man, it was great. It was like I grew up with the Ninja Turtles, and then like the 2007 Ninja Turtles movie TMNT came out in theaters, and that was my first Ninja Turtles movie I've seen in theaters that I got to see in theaters, and I always have a special place for that Turtles movie in my heart. I really will. And the reason why I bring that up is because as I'm getting older, I'm beginning to read more comic books, right? And one of my favorite comic books is this, The Last Ronin. Without really getting into it too much, which I did like a 6-part review of it, I'll somewhere in the video I'll put like the roundtable review of this book where you guys get to hear my thoughts, and like Astro, Ronin 66, and Amen Fate thoughts on this book. But making a long story short, really amazing book. I think this is a buy. The plot is amazing. I really don't have any complaints about this book. This book just deals with 3 of the 4 Ninja Turtles are dead, including Splinter, and it takes place like 16 years in the future. And so there's one last surviving turtle, right? Because like I said, no more other turtles, no more Splinter, and he is on a quest for revenge. And that's as far as I can go without like really spoiling it for any of you guys that may want to give this series a read. Now, the only complaint I would say is that I feel like they should have drew the review of The Last Ronin out a little bit longer, just to keep us audience in suspense. But that's the only negative thing or complaint that I might have for this. Outside of that, no complaints. And that's me potentially being nitpicky, because this is so good. But of course, like if you guys have read this or will go and read this, just know that this does leave the door open for sequels. And they did have Lost years where they did like bring in more flashbacks while setting the sequel up a bit more. And now Nickelodeon and IDW Publishing is getting ready to have The Last Ronin to have an official sequel, and I'm so excited. So as a heads up at this point, if you guys do not want any spoilers to this, back out now, because this article may contain spoilers to the original Last Ronin book. And the sequel that I was talking about that has like the flashbacks while setting the sequel, the official sequel up a little bit more, I believe it's called The Lost Years. So I've yet to read that, which I have plans to read The Lost Years too. But anyways, let's give this a read, shall we? The hit series that revitalized the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic line and reignited the spark of its co-creator Kevin Eastman is coming back for a second slice. In a way, a third slice, but I get what I mean. IDW Publishing has announced a sequel to the recent hit series TMNT The Last Ronin. The Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution was the first revealed during the IDW San Diego Comic Con and shared first with IGN. According to IGN's covers of the book, Re-Evolution brings together the original Last Ronin creative team, co-creators Kevin Eastman and Tom Walsh, artists Ben Bishop, Ishu Escorza, and Isaac Escorza, colorist Edgar Delgado, and letterer Sean Lee. The new series will follow a different gang of Ninja Turtles. The new mutants introduced in the Last Ronin pages of the last issue of the last. Sorry. The new mutants introduced in the last pages of the last issue of the Last Ronin. The first Last Ronin. The new gang of turtles, Yi, Uno, Odin, and Moja, has followed the footsteps of their predecessors and rebuilt New York City after the damage Shredder's grandson did in the first series. Now, I also gotta say, before I go any further, yes, this opens the door for this Last Ronin 2, and but I also gotta say, because even though I'm really interested in these new turtles, which again I will say their names are Yi, Uno, Odin, and Mosha, which I do apologize if I mispronounce any of those 4 turtles' names. Even though I'm interested in what they're going to bring to the table of the Ninja Turtle lore, I have to say, this book that I'm holding in my hand, even though it opens up the door for a sequel and for just the right to continue, and if you guys want to give the sequel a shot, of course, no shame, because I'm even wanting to see where these new turtles are going. But at the same time, my point is, this book also, even though it sets up the sequel in a beautiful way, it also, what it does in a beautiful way is, if you want to just stop watching, reading Ninja Turtle books, this will make a beautiful conclusion. Because, spoiler alert to this book with the exception of April O'Neil, it's the last story of the Ninja Turtles. So we won't, of the original gang. So we won't get Leo, Raph, Donnie, or Mikey, Master Splinter, or Casey Jones. We might get Casey Jones in flashbacks, because he's dead at this point of this. But in present time, yeah, no more Casey stories, unless it was flashbacks for Casey Marie Jones and April O'Neil. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. If you guys wanted to don't want to watch or read any more Ninja Turtle comic books after this does make a beautiful conclusion and a stopping point. But if you guys want to keep going, this also brings teases the future in a beautiful way as well. So that said, let's go. Luckily, and Theo as in the New Turtles, they will have Sensei Casey Marie Jones, the daughter of Casey Jones and April O'Neil, to help them out. Quote unquote, the real heart of and soul for me was dusting off and bringing Last Ronin to life 3 years ago, was my belief. Every beginning must have an end, Kevin Eastman told IGN. I want to bring full circle to what TMNT co-creator Peter Laird and I started in 1984 and set out to do in 1987. With Last Ronin, with my friend Tom Waltz, and an incredible gathering of brilliant artisans, we accomplished that 33 years later. Before I continue, I'm happy that 33 years later he was able to do that, accomplish that. I think it also benefited to have that long wait too, because if he did bring out the Last Ronin back in the day, I'm not saying the Last Ronin wouldn't have been as good as it is today. I'm not saying that. Because I think it would be as good as it is today if they was made in 1987. Or even potentially better. But I don't think there would have been as much of an impact back then as there is today. Sure, there would have been like an impact, sure. But at this point, we have like what, multiple iterations of the Turtles? We got the 87 Turtles, the 90s Trilogy Turtles, the Next Mutation Turtles, the 03 Turtles, the 2012 Turtles, the 2007 movie Turtles, which some argues like a continuation of the 90s trilogy. Some will argue it's its own thing. We got the Mirage Studio Turtles, right? The original Turtles. That's what I'm referring to. We got the Rise Turtles. We got the Mutant Mayhem Turtles, and even like the thousands of different versions of the Turtles that I have not even mentioned. So like, sure, back in the day, like when Turtlemania was a thing, it potentially would have had a big impact. But like now that like Turtles are like really like up in like, it has been about like close to 40 years. Next year will be 40 years. Even though like this came out like what, a few years ago. But point is, I don't think this would have had the same impact if it was released sooner rather than when it did. So I think part of the impact that it has been because of the wait for the story to come out. So that's my thoughts of that first part of the quote. Now, I also met Kevin Eastman in person, and he is a really cool dude. It was an honor meeting him. Kevin Eastman is one of my idols, and I nerded the hell out, and he probably was saying, this guy is a nerd. Like, I was trying to hold myself in together while I was meeting him, and I wonder if I did a good job. There's even a picture in my community tab. If you guys want to scroll down a little bit in my community tab, where you guys get to see a picture of me in cosplay with Kevin Eastman, and I do this smile like, oh my god, but I was trying to play it cool. So yeah, I had to throw that in there because, well, that's Kevin Eastman, one of my idols. I also got to meet Peter Laird, because he's another one of my idols, because he helped in the creation of the Ninja Turtles. Anyways, sidetrack, sorry. Getting back to the course. Little did we know, The Last Ronin would become a publicity sensation, a New York Times bestseller, far surpassing our initial hopes and expectations. And not only was it successful, it offered Kevin and I the opportunity to revisit what we've lovingly come to call the Ronin verse, in the form of prequels and sequels. First with Lost Years, Lost Days, and now with The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution. I couldn't be more excited and humbled to help bring the next generation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to the world. Now, like I said, I've only read this. I haven't read Lost Years, Lost Days, which is a sequel to The Last Ronin. Kind of like how the Miles Morales game is a sequel to the the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game was. So I really want to pick that up and give it a read. And whenever I do pick it up and give it a read, you guys can expect a review from this channel. So you guess I'm a YouTuber who loves the Ninja Turtles. What better pursuits am I in, right? Anyways, TMNT The Last Ronin was a 5-issue comic published from 2020 to 2021, and followed Michelangelo on a revenge mission after the other 3 turtles were murdered in an attack by the Hand. Set in the near future, like about 16 years in the future, The Last Ronin took cues from Frank Miller's Batman The Dark Knight Returns to paint a grim, dark future for the pizza-loving reptiles as well as their colleagues of April O'Neil and their enemies such as Shredder. And The Last Ronin was so popular that it's already prompted the TMNT owner, Nickelodeon, to commission a video game adaptation of the project, although it's still a few years out. And I gotta say, I'm very excited, not only for the sequel, but for this to be adapted into a video game. That is my wet dream, pretty much, right there, is being able to not only like read these pages, but see this on the big screen, done well, of course, and in video game form. Oh, oh, I so cannot wait. But what do you guys have to say about it? Are you guys excited for this amazing comic? Which I got the hardcover. This has all 5 issues in it. But are you guys excited for this amazing comic right here to get not only a sequel, but a video game as well? Because how I am. And if you guys have not read this comic book, it's a 5 issue story. I do recommend, if you guys are gonna like buy the hardcover to read it, and if you guys like want to get the 5 issues individually, I have to like save somewhere, because in the near future, sometime in the future, this is going to be worth a lot of money. Hell, I'm even tempted to get a second copy of this hardcover alone, just to store somewhere, just so I can have one to read. I have one to potentially if I ever meet Kevin Eastman again in the future, have him sign, because oh my lord, I'm so in love with this story, and I cannot wait for to get the Lost Day comic book, just so I can get more immersed into the Ronin first, and I cannot wait until the sequel comes out and the video game. But anyways, let me know how you guys feel about this article in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you beautiful mutants later. Later, taters.